One thing I did use in playing Creon is the historical fact. The fact is that both himself and his wife have had 3 sons, and they've lost 2 of them. So we addressed the relationship between Haemon, Creon, and Eurydice as having been strongly affected by loss. There's a powerful grief at the heart of the family, and I think that leads Creon to slightly fetishize his son. He's overly protective. He's infantilized his son. The thought of losing him. So consequently, he speaks to this 25-year-old man as though he's a 5-year-old.
It's very difficult. They love each other enormously, but there's that love-hate thing that is so close to each other. They care so much about each other, but then it goes past that into an anger to a point where they can't really communicate, and Haemon's trying so hard to be reasonable and see everyone's point of view and try and persuade him that he's going horribly wrong without making him flip out, and it's really hard.
Father, the most enviable of a man's gifts is the ability to reason clearly. And it's not for me to say you are wrong, even if I were clever enough or experienced enough, which I'm not. But it's also true to say that some men think differently about these things. And as your son, my most useful function, it seems to me, is to keep you in touch with what other people are thinking. The prospect of your disapproval is a great silencer of most men's tongues, and some things are never said for fear of the consequences. But I can sometimes hear what people whisper behind their hands. And everywhere, I hear sympathy expressed for this unfortunate girl, condemned as she is to a horrifying death that no woman has ever suffered before, and unjustly in most people's eyes.
The Haemon scene, which comes absolutely halfway through the text, I think is probably the biggest turning point in the whole, well, that and Tiresias, I suppose, are the 2 other huge turning points. But the moment where Creon makes the decision that he will sacrifice his own son on the altar of his own ambition and narrow-mindedness, I think is a really extraordinary moment on stage.
His son begs him to change his mind, and in order to convince Creon to change his mind, he tells his father that public opinion is against his judgment and public opinion is behind Antigone. And again, Creon ignores this.
Must you have the last word in everything? Must all the rest of us be gagged?
I must, and I will, and you, I promise you, will regret what you have spoken here today. I will not be sneered at or contradicted by anyone. Sons can be punished too, you know. Bring her out. The bitch, let her die, here and now, in the open, with her bridegroom beside her as a witness. You can watch the execution.
That's one sight I shall never see.